Part 2. 3 months ago, Elena had announced her terminal diagnosis on social media with a post that read, "Before I die, I want a wedding with the person I love most." At the time, I hadn't sensed anything amiss between us and even left a comment asking who this special person was. She had simply replied, "You'll find out when the time comes." Learning the truth felt like a knife twisting in my chest, leaving me breathless with pain. Desperately, I dialed Rey's number, calling again and again, wanting to understand why he had done this to me. But that night, he didn't answer a single call. I cried until I passed out while he was spending his wedding night with Elena. Thankfully, it would all be over soon. Later, after I had returned home, Elena called. "Trina, I'm really sorry. I honestly didn't expect to run into you today." I just let out a bitter laugh and said nothing in return. Elena took a deep breath, her tone laced with envy. "Mrs. Hall is so wonderful. She was so kind and caring toward me," she said. "They even said they'd do everything they could to find the right doctor for me." She paused, then lowered her voice. "Trina, why couldn't it be me marrying into the Hall family? It could be her, of course, if she had the ability to make it so." "Well, let me wish you two a happy marriage in advance," I replied coolly, before hanging up, tempted to block her number entirely. Maybe that would stop her from reaching out just to flaunt her place in my life. But as I was about to do so, I accidentally opened her social media feed and discovered something infuriating. She had stolen my design draft and submitted it for a competition. The same draft I created as a birthday gift for Rey. My hands shook with anger. He must have given it to her behind my back. Trying to steady my racing heart, I took a deep breath, grabbed my copyright certificate, and filed a plagiarism report on the competition's website against Elena's entry. After handling everything, my friend Selena, who co-owns the studio with me, called. "Trina, what's going on? Why are you suddenly pulling out your investment?" she asked. Selena had always been a mutual friend of Elena and me, but she and Elena had never gotten along. I decided to tell her everything, including the fact that I was planning to get married. When Selena heard, she was livid. "This Elena is unbelievable. Using her illness as an excuse to steal someone else's man. She's probably faking it," she added. "I'm so angry. I'm calling her later to give her a piece of my mind." I couldn't help but feel touched by her outrage, but I sighed. "Forget it. It's not worth it. The wedding is happening soon, and I just want to move on." At that moment, I heard footsteps approaching from behind me. Rey's voice suddenly rang out. "Wedding? What wedding?" I ended the call and turned to face Rey, noticing a hint of nervousness in his expression. A sudden thought crossed my mind. "I just heard some gossip," I began, keeping my tone casual. "A man married another woman without telling his girlfriend. My friend was saying that he's pathetic. His girlfriend thought she was the one he loved most." To my surprise, Rey reacted immediately, almost excitedly. "What's that about? How can they judge him like that? What if the wedding is just a way to fulfill the last wish of a terminally ill person?" His impassioned defense only made me feel more ridiculous. 10 years of a relationship, all thrown away like this. Perhaps sensing the shift in my mood, Rey stepped forward and wrapped me in a tight hug. "Trina, what's going on with you lately?" He held me even closer, his voice soft but urgent. "We've been together for so long. Don't you know how much I love you? We'll sort things out with Elena, and then we can get married, okay?" As he spoke, his hand slowly moved toward the hem of my shirt. But I turned my head and firmly pressed his hand down, stopping him. "Sorry, I just don't have any emotions left." Rey stared at me for a long time, his eyes searching for something, but he found no answers. After a moment of silence, he finally let go of me, his disinterest evident. "I'm going to sleep in the study." Not long after I fell asleep, I heard Rey rushing out again. I turned over and went back to sleep, not caring to check what he was up to. The next morning, as soon as I opened the door, I was surprised to see Rey sitting in the living room. I raised an eyebrow slightly. So early, Rey didn't even acknowledge my greeting. Instead, he fired a question at me. "Why did you report Elena for plagiarism? Do you know how much of a blow that is to her?" My smile faltered. "Then, can you tell me, did Elena really create that design draft herself? Isn't it plagiarism?" Rey was taken aback, clearly shocked by my words. "Trina, how could you become like this? Where's the kind-hearted person I used to know?" He paused, clearly frustrated. "You've got everything, awards for your work, success, and now you're taking this away from her?" His voice softened, and his eyes grew more intense. "Elena is in the hospital, Trina. She's dying. All she wanted was to experience the feeling of winning an award before she goes. Is that too much to ask?" I was so angry that my fingers went numb. Without thinking, I snapped back at him, "Of course not. Rey, you know how much I've sacrificed to fulfill my dream. For years, I've endured frostbite on my hands every winter, itching and painful, just to practice my painting. How can you so easily give my work to Elena like that? If she wants to feel the pride of winning an award, she needs to earn it, not steal from me. What's so hard to understand about that? I could live without a man, but if she dares to touch my designs, I'll make sure she regrets it." Rey didn't seem to notice how badly I was affected. Instead, he said, "You've changed," before walking out. I was so furious that it triggered a heart attack, and I collapsed to the ground, gasping in pain. "Rey, save me." But he didn't even look back. Download NovelShort and search 254063 to read more.